Hello, everyone. So, got a new story today. Let's see what's going on in the world. It says here, psychological reasons women understand male culture better than men understand female culture. Is culture just the new popular word now? Because what the fuck is male and female culture? Uh, Stitch incoming. I I look like I'll get mad if you serve the kids their food first before me. Women are considered bicultural. I swear to God, they invent new ways to pat women on the back just for existing. You're like, you don't have to do anything impressive. Just breathe oxygen, and we'll tell you it's amazing. It's time for a lesson in feminist theory. Our favorite thing to do on TikTok is get free college courses from the Gen Z students sharing the interesting things they learn in bite-sized portions. Thanks to TikToker and psychology student Izzy. Izzy Bo Busy with Jesus Christ. Now we have a little more understanding as to why women are so much better at understanding men than men are at understanding women. Women are better at understanding men. Are you sure about that? Let's be honest, though. We've known this for a while. Well, I mean, if you say so. In media and literature, we see it in female characters written by men who come off as flat and one-dimensional, whereas male characters are often full-fledged, realistic humans with desires other than falling for the male protagonist. And apparently there's a psychological reason for this difference. No, it's just storytelling. The protagonist gets more screen time, and so they have more chances to develop and show different parts of their characters. The other characters are called supporting characters, which means they're not even going to exist in the scene unless they somehow revolve around the protagonist, either as an antagonist or a friend or whatever. They're supporting characters, so they don't really get fully fleshed out. And usually, if you tell a story where the protagonist is a man, especially if it's a straight man, his love interests are going to come into play. His relationships with women are going to come into play. So those women obviously are going to revolve around him if they come into the story at some point. Otherwise, it would just be a story about them. Even the men, like, if there are other men and talking to the protagonist, they also revolve around him. They're supporting, they revolve around him either as a friend or someone there to help them. It's not a sexist thing. It's just the nature of supporting characters. All right. Izzy says women understand male culture because women have to understand it to survive. Oh, good Lord. They have to survive. You would think women are in constant danger the way they talk about survival so much. Izzy first brings up the topic as a response to a video in which a woman jokes about a man looking angry when we feed the kids before the men. Honestly, it's so real. I've seen discourse around those videos talking about how women can extremely accurately come up with the archetypes for men, whereas men cannot do the same for women. Again, are you sure about that? And this whole men getting angry because someone fed the kids before them, that's not, I think that's a more of an outdated thing. Back in the day with nuclear families, and there was sort of a tradition around feeding the head of the household first. I mean, it's an etiquette thing back in the day. But imagine that you spent most of your life at a job you hate to support your family. And the least you would want is them to show a little bit of, gratitude or respect or something. And imagine you come home to your family and you're pretty much treated like an afterthought, where The kids are more important. Your wife focused completely on the kids, uh, anyways, and then you come to get some food, and then the kids all get food, and then you don't, and you're just like you're just there. You're a bystander in a house that you pay for and you work your ass off to support. That would be the reason why the guys would be angry. But nowadays, that's not really a thing because that etiquette no longer exists. Uh, I mean, it depends. Some it might exist in some households, and I can see why they would get angry in those situations. But it's really not that big of a deal. Uh, she also says women are considered bicultural, like most marginalized groups. Marginalized. A majority of the goddamn human population somehow is marginalized. In that not only do they understand the culture they are physically a part of, but they also understand deeply the culture of the dominant group in order to survive within that majority culture. Majority. Men are the majority, is what you're saying. Okay. So women are not only understand the culture of fellow women, but they also understand the culture of men because they have to, whereas men do not understand female culture because they don't have to and they don't care to. Or they or we just don't have any interest in whatever. I don't even know what culture you're talking about. What is men culture? What is this lesson is both fascinating and not surprising. We all learned about assimilation when we were growing up. Immigrants who came to the US had to assimilate to American culture to not get targeted or discriminated against. No, not really. Immigrants tend to maintain their own culture. I mean, there's a freaking Chinatown in so many major cities. Uh, Immigrants maintain their own culture. They just have to adapt in certain ways to, I would say, adapt to the laws. Or if they want to make friends outside of their culture, they're going to have to get to know the other person and their culture in order. It's a respect thing, right? You would want someone to respect your culture, so you would have to respect their culture, and you have to get to know their culture. And if you want to fit in to that culture or adopt their culture, that is a choice. It's not a thing that's forced on people. Um, this is why most Americans speak English. I mean, you could go to China and speak whatever language you want there, apparently, because everywhere else they just allow you to speak whatever language you want. Like you go to a country where the majority of the language is either English or Spanish, which is America. Majority of the language is, I think it's kind of like it's mostly English, but there's a lot of Spanish speakers. You're gonna have to speak the language to communicate with these people. I don't understand what the problem is. You don't lose whatever language you had before. You could still speak in your own home and with other people that have that language. It's really not that big of a deal. And do other American things such as take part in capitalism. Uh, you can't avoid capitalism because you're gonna want to buy things. It's very enticing. Trust me. But oftentimes, at least first generation immigrants are still connected to and understand their own culture. Izzy is essentially making this equivalency with women. We have to assimilate to male culture in order to survive. What's the danger that you're trying to survive? In some cases, assimilating was a feminist milestone, such as wearing pants and suit jackets. Say what now? That was pants and suit jackets were women trying to assimilate to male culture. Okay. In other cases, assimilating means submitting to men's whims so that they'll like us more, which can often be seen as a step back. Okay. and you think what men enjoy going on dates and spending money on dinners. Like we both assimilate to each other in order to appeal to the other person. Like it's not a solipsism is a biatch. But women know that in order to get by in a patriarchal society, we have to understand the people who are in charge of it. In charge. Yeah, I remember when I was with the boys just making rules just a couple minutes ago. And in America's 45 presidents, 46 presidencies of 45 people, they have been 0 women. It's safe to say that we're definitely in a patriarchy. Okay. We are in a patriarchy. And guess who vote for those men? Because you can't say it's just men now. You have the right to vote. And women make up the majority. Guess what they do? They don't vote for women. Did you vote for for Hillary Clinton? I doubt it. In Barbie, the women are in charge. Oh God. But it's basically a reversed form of world we live in. Is it? The female Barbies don't understand the Kens. As women watching this, we love it because the Barbies don't have to do the extra legwork we've been doing for centuries. Oh, poor you. You have to get to know men, how how you've suffered. But the Barbie society was, in a way, even more backward than our world because the Kens didn't understand their own male culture. Okay, I don't understand what the hell you're talking about. I still don't know what this culture thing is. When Ken came back with patriarchy and horses, the Kens were enamored by the fact that they even could have their own culture. Luckily, women in our real world still have our own culture, which includes worshiping Taylor Swift. Why would you worship a singer? Bringing back 2000s era fashion, and of course, enjoying the sardonic wit of Fran Lebowitz. I don't know who that is. These are vastly different examples to prove that women don't have one thing we all enjoy, though. I guarantee you, someone's going to be watching this and they're going to be like, oh, of course you don't get it because you're a man. You just proved her point because you don't know female culture. Just like, get over yourself. It's really not that impressive. We're just interested in different things. Why is that? Why is that a problem? We're interested in different things. What is this culture thing? What is this survival thing you're talking about? Men have never had a problem with women just doing their own thing. Like ever. Like even as kids, you could see it in children. The boys, they're not over there wondering what the women are doing, what the girls are doing. They're doing their own thing. And it's usually the girls that come over and they're like, oh, we want to join you. They insert themselves in what the guys are doing. And it happens with adults too. Like all the things that we have in our world today, even the things that the women enjoy, the men created a way for it to happen. And then the women are like, oh, we want our version of that too. It just, but one thing all women can relate to is Turning Point speech by America Ferrera. Like we have to always be extraordinary. I, I don't, I don't see how that's possible. If that was true, there would be a lot of extraordinary women, and there just isn't. There just isn't. But somehow we are always doing it wrong. Doing what wrong? Existing? Because that's literally the only thing you have to do. There's literally no expectations for a woman to do anything great. There isn't. I mean, that's some of the great things that you should be able to enjoy is that the only pressure that you have is from maybe your immediate family because they want you to have kids or whatever, or family or something like that. But other than that, people aren't expecting great things from you. You don't have to be impressive. You have to be thin, but not too thin. How's that? That's not unique for women. Uh, Fat men have to lose weight too. It's not just you. And being skinny dude, like people make fun of you. Like you got to have some muscle on you as a man. Like which is building muscle is way harder than freaking just not eating too much. And you can never say you want to be thin. Why not? You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin. What? What do you talk? What does she talk? But always stand out and always be grateful. Stand out? How? And be grateful to who? But never forget that the system is rigged. What system? So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. To who? There's more to the speech, but that, in a nutshell, is what it means to understand female culture. On the other hand, a simplified version of male culture would be sports, guns, and the Roman Empire. What is this Roman Empire nonsense? Why do people keep making reference to the Roman Empire? Who the hell is thinking about the Roman Empire? Who gives a shit? It was a long time ago. Sports, guns. I don't give a shit about sports. I don't even watch sports. But it is a thing that a lot of men enjoy. I think it's boring to watch. I'd rather play a sport than watch it. But yes, a lot of men enjoy sports. Guns, yeah, you'd find more men enjoying guns. The Roman Empire, I don't know what the hell that is about. But women know that it's more than that. Control, power, and competition have always been the forefront of the patriarchy. Control, power, and competition. There's competition because everyone wants to be at the top. No one just wants to stay at the bottom. People have ambition, which means there's going to be competition. Can't be the best if you can't beat the best. There's going to be competition with anything. Power. People have power, yes. But also, any man with power can be taken down by a woman with an accusation. That is true power. See what happened with Jonathan Majors. He called the police. His entire career brought down because people sympathize with women. Just that is power. Control. I've never known a man that has control over a woman. I've known plenty of women that makes it seem like the man has control over her, but I've never known a man to actually have control over a woman. However, in today's world, men now have to reconcile that with being emotionally intelligent and respectful towards women. I don't understand any of this. Well, there you have it. Women are better than you because they just know more than you. Because till next time.